Hi class, let's take a look at example 5. Now, in example 5, you're going to encounter some of these problems in the homework that are going to have the same idea. Now, if I give you a problem on a paper exam and it has to do with actual cards, it'll be this deck of cards, and I'll actually provide the same deck, and it is understood as out of 52 cards unless it actually states something else. So let's take a look at the first problem, and they want you to find the probability of selecting a 10. So let me actually declare the event. In this case, let A equal to selecting a 10 or a card number 10. I'm just going to call it a 10. Now, you have to look at your cards in the following form. They're looking at selecting a 10. These are your 10s. So technically the probability of A, in this case, it's going to be, well, 10 out of the values of 52. So we're looking at 0.1923, approximately 0.19. 90% chance that we're going to be getting an actual 10 out of the deck of cards. Now, they're actually adding a union to the event. In this case, selecting a 10 or a 2. So we already wrote technically A. In this case, let me just say let B, and then B is going to be selecting a 2. So the probability of B it's going to be, well, your 2s are actually here. And you're also going to have a total of 10 out of 52. Now, the main event that they're asking, it's basically the probability of A or B, which represents the probability of A union B. And for this problem, actually, it's going to be a little bit long for the formula. It's going to actually represent equivalent to the following. So this is going to be the probability of A plus the probability of B minus the probability of A intersect B. We write the formula and we may not actually have an intersection. So in this case, the probability of A, that was 10 out of 52, plus another 10 out of 52, minus, there is no intersection for this problem, so minus 0 out of 52. So our main answer is going to be 20 out of 52. So we're looking at 0.3846. That would be to technically 4 decimal places, 0.38 to 2 decimal places. You have to be careful how exactly they want the answer. I want all of these as fractions and then technically as decimal approximations. Let's actually look at the next example. And the next example, you have technically 2 events, the queens or the spades. So let me just say let, in this case, C equal to selecting a queen. And then D is equal to selecting a spade. Now, in this case, the actual problem, and let me write it in black. So it's going to be the probability of D in this case, it'll be C or D, which is going to be equivalent to the probability of C plus the probability of D minus the probability of C intersect D. Now, C is selecting a queen. So let's look at the event of selecting your queens. So let me use this color. These are your queens. So your queens represent 4 out of 52. So let me write it as 4 out of 52 plus, and then your spades, let me select a different color here. Your spades are these. So you're technically going to have 10, 11, 12, 13. So plus 13 out of 52 minus, technically the events in the intersection, and you do have technically one value in the intersection, which happens to be this queen of spades, minus 1 out of 52. So we're going to end up with, I'm counting 16. So for this one, it'll be 16 out of the values of 52. So we're looking at 16 out of 52. 0.3077 or 0.31. And let me just draw a line from the previous problem. So I'm getting 0.31 if you want to do decimal places of 0.3077. That's supposed to be a 0. And let me draw a line so we know where this problem actually ended. That is it for this problem. Let me double check. So we said it was 4 plus technically 13 and minus the intersection. So that would be 16 out of 52. 0.30, yep. Okay, let's take a look at the next problem, example 6, and they're changing the deck of cards. So your sample space is going to represent how many total cards do you have, and I'm counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. There's 4, so the sample space in this case, so I'm just going to call that S is equal to 40 cards. Now, they want the probability of a king. And in this case, well, these are your kings. So let A, selecting the king, so the probability of A, well, there is 4 out of a total of 40. That's going to give us 0.1 or 0.10. I'll leave it as 0.10 as a final answer for this one. That is it for example 6.